So the third game coming in the Jackbox Party Pack 11 has been teased today, and it's going to be called Legends of Trivia. So kind of like a D&D style trivia game. So they did a short 30-second trailer. It didn't really have a lot of information, but then there was this article on Xbox Wire just going into some more details about Legends of Trivia and then the Jackbox Party Pack 11 overall. So I wanted to kind of read through that really fast. So it says Jackbox Party Pack 11 is dropping on Xbox, but also on PC, Switch, and other systems this fall. And we can't wait for everyone to get to see what we've been working on. We have 5 all-new games in this pack, including a joke writing game, a cozy drawing game, a sound effect game, a social deduction game, and trivia role-playing game called Legends of Trivia. Legends of Trivia is Jackbox's newest trivia game with a fantasy twist. You work cooperatively with your team to destroy monsters and villains by answering trivia questions correctly while trying to avoid the baddies hitting back. We spoke with a few of the developers, including game director Warren Arnold, lead artist Hector Padilla, and audio lead Nate Sandberg. So how does Legends of Trivia work, and how does it differ from past Jackbox games you've contributed to? Players are given a trivia question, which when answered correctly does damage to a monster. However, incorrect answers allow the monster to attack the players. Players work as a team to face increasingly difficult monsters and rack up as many points as they can in order to be considered legendary. Legends of Trivia is definitely one of the bigger games they've made due to the fact that there's a lot of animation, action, and balancing that are necessary to make this game come to life. So how did the team make decisions about the world that this game exists in? So Hector actually pitched the first iteration of this game like 5 or 6 years ago. It was a first prototype. They were happy with how it turned out, and it went pretty far in the pitching process. People seemed to like it. However, they put the idea on ice because there was a lot of questions about the design. Then recently, Nate, who's the audio lead, randomly asked him to send all the notes and designs over during that pitching process, and he made a small pitch to the team that eventually got the green light to make the trivia RPG game that they're working on now. So there's different backgrounds. You can see there's like swamp, underwater, castle, desert, spooky kind of graveyard vibes, mountain, tree houses, lava, valleys, caves, and salt. So some of the inspiration for the art and the audio, and has it been easy or challenging when designing for this minigame? So the 8-bit music in the Final Fantasy franchise, written by Nobuo Uematsu, imprinted on him hard. The arpeggiated analog synths, earworm melodies, and diving bass lines in that soundtrack define fantasy and RPG music for him. He tried to bring some of that sound to Legends of Trivia, so mixing analog sounds with more traditional fantasy genre instruments like the Irish whistle, cello, and trombone. So he had a clear idea of how the music should sound in the game, but at times it was a lot more serious and more intense than other Jackbox games. So one of the challenges was trying to offset that intensity while bringing humor into the sound design for the game. And it came up with some sort of like classic cartoon sound effects for monsters and characters to make them more funny and Jackboxy. He also threw in some jaw harp and contrabassoon for fun. And then for Hector, he was also into Final Fantasy as well, and he's a student from the school of Ken Sugimori, who's the primary visual designer for the Pokemon franchise. So his art was a huge influence on this game as well. Character design is something that comes naturally, but UI and layouts are always a struggle. So one of their favorite characters from this minigame is Azura, the Princess Mage, because Hector worked a lot on her animations, and he got to get in touch with the magical girl inside his heart. Also, Bingle, the rogue gesture. People need to stop being afraid of clowns. And then for a favorite audio moment in the game, Nate chose the sound design for the org boss monster. Hector created this massive org riding a tiny donkey. And so there was a lot of fun creating sounds for that animation. And they used cartoon-inspired xylophones and squeaky toys for the donkey, which creates a hilarious contrast compared to the big, bassy org sounds. And then what they hope to inspire for players through the art and audio is they hope that players really feel immersed in the game. They want to feel like their choices matter, or the moves they make really hit, or the avatar they choose really fits the character they want to role play for this 20-minute game. And then for Nate, he likes the sound and music design to inspire a sense of story and nostalgia, and he hopes that some of the melodies stick with players just like classic RPG melodies did for him. So check out Legends of Trivia along with the other mini games coming to Jackbox Party Pack 11 this fall. It's nice to see some of the behind the scenes. We don't get a ton of that when it comes to game development and like design. So it makes me very curious on what the Legends of Trivia is going to look like, and I'm looking forward to this Jackbox coming out in a few months. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this third game reveal?